We have a couple of days to National Convention, and we must collectively ensure the success of the event. As you all know, the National Convention of our party, which we have committed, is holding on the 26th March 2022, and we cannot afford to do anything that will jeopardize the chances of the party in the 2023 general elections. The limited time frame of the INEC timetable does not permit us any room for delay or further squabbling. We must therefore, in the light of this reality, consistently keep our eyes on the ball and refuse any distraction. A critical segment of our national democratic process is the National Assembly. Excuse me. Being representatives of our people from all over the country, the National Assembly, especially the Ninth Assembly, has exhibited commitment to a peaceful, democratic process in its conduct and uttermost maturity in its relationship with other arms of government. I commend you, the leadership, for this success.
That is a word of the President to the leaders of the National Assembly caucus. So after the meeting, they of course spoke to journalists about what transpired or what the President said or what they agreed on. And I'm going to take a listen to the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan.
Officers of the APC to hold today's meeting with us. Mr. President emphasized the need for us in the APC to be united, always act as a family, ensure that we remain focused. We have the leadership of Nigeria today at the national level, and of course we have many states, about 22 states under the leadership of the APC governors, actually 22.5. We have half a state in Anambra where we have, no, it's gone already. But we have 22 states and control the federal government. That requires that APC as a political party remains very focused, energetic, and purposeful, as it has always been, and ensure that we maintain the trajectory of development for our country, because that is the trust Nigerians gave us in 2015 and renewed that in 2019.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan there. Some of the key points that came out of the import of that meeting was the fact that there's going to be a unity list that will emerge. That means consensus. But there are a lot of people who perhaps are not happy with the position or with the trend of things ahead of Saturday. It's Thursday, but tomorrow is going to be eve of the convention. But what happens when people are disagreeing or people are not happy? We try to get all the sides to all of this matter tonight. Let's hear from those who are perhaps not really happy and the reasons why they are not happy. Tonight, I'm being joined by a member of the APC, Mr. Benga Titiloye, as well as a member of the APC Rebirth Group, Aliyu Audu. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you first, Mr. Titiloye, how does this arrangement of consensus, how does it come to you?
Well, so I must say it doesn't make any sense.
Really?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Coming from the leader of your party, who was agreed, with.
So look, let's call a spade, okay? This is a democracy. It is called a democracy. And there are laws. There's a constitution for the party. There's the Electoral Act that has just, been put in there. And this singular act is against a lot of things.
Like what?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. In the Electoral Act,
the portion that talks about consensus and the modalities of
Clause
the consensus.
84.9 of the Electoral Act provides that a political party that adopts a consensus candidate shall secure a written consent from all cleared aspirants for this position.
So are you saying that has not been done?
So this is not a military rule. This is
No, I'm asking. I mean, you were not in the meeting of the aspirant and the president, were you?
Of course, a couple of us have principals that are contesting for the chairmanship, But
what are they telling you? What did they tell you?
It's not about what they tell me. It's on the news. You have
That's
just,
what?
you have just spoken about it.
Yes, but you tell us what exactly the problem is.
The APC is coming up with a consensus candidate. You understand? What does the word consensus mean?
It's in that law. It's provided in that law. Consensus that you have to agree. Exactly. But the law is now saying that you have to have a written agreement as to stepping down or not going ahead when there is a consensus agreement.
It did not happen.
But do you know whether or not it will happen between now and Saturday?
Look, Sheil, there are no children amongst us. You understand? And it's high time for Nigeria to move forward. It's laughable. These kind of things are pedestrian. Honestly. You need to know what Nigeria is, where we are now, where we ought to be, okay? This is a progressive party. It's not a party you just go and sit down with friends and start drinking or eating. This is a political party. That is the ruling party in Nigeria.
So are you arguing with the president on the point that
definitely
there must be a consensus?
Oh, yes.
You don't think consensus is the way to go?
My brother, if there will be a consensus, the law has stated what is supposed to be. Okay? And if we're going to go into, let's go and test popularity, for God's sake. This is a democracy, not a military rule. So we can't be coming up with absolutely pedestrian.
You don't agree with the way the party has gone about it?
I doubt whether anybody in their right senses would.
Aliyu, let me ask you. You wanted the rebirth of the APC. What's your view? What's your take on the development in the last 24 hours?
I'll put it simple and straight. I think the president would have done, might have just done the biggest damage to the person of the president, that the leader we have all come to know, be loyal to, and follow. If what has happened in the last 24 hours is anything to go by then, it simply means that the president is simply saying loyalty means nothing. Being good means nothing. Being honest means nothing. Being truthful means nothing in partisan politics. And that is heartbreaking.
It's obvious that you have a preconceived notion of how you think that things should go, and they're not going exactly the way you wanted it to go. What exactly was your opinion or your mindset before now?
Time and time again, Mr. President has reiterated how he wants power to return to the people. He said this, he's passed it, he said it many times, he's passed it in laws, that actually show that he's committed to taking power back to the people, which is the very essence of democracy. But in a situation where the president allows himself to be cornered by a certain people to decide on a candidate, that is one part. Then the candidate itself is another. I do not think that Abdullahi Adamu, who was a front-runner of the third-term agenda, in any way deserves to head any political party, let alone a progressive one.
What third-term agenda?
Of Obasanjo.
Of Obasanjo.
He was at the very forefront of it.
Yes.
If Obasanjo had succeeded with the third term, then there would have been a fourth, there would have been a fifth. Obasanjo is still alive. It is very possible we probably will have a living president right now. And that means there would have been no APC and there would have been no President Muhammadu Buhari's presidency. And there were people who have been loyal to president since 2003 till date. And he looks at those people. Malam Salihu Mustafa, Senator Tanko Al-Makura, Sani 313, who has shown service and sacrifice to the nation over the last few years. You look at them, and all of their sacrifices mean nothing. And I cannot even pick a thing that connects Adamu Abdullahi and the president, except the fact that they are in the same party right now. Adamu Abdullahi, in 2007, told the kings in Nasarawa not to receive President Muhammadu Buhari, the then
blocked him.
AMPP candidate, and then he threatened he was going to depose them. Adamu Abdullahi in 2007 allegedly asked for permission from then President Muhammadu Buhari to eliminate President Muhammadu Buhari. Adamu Abdullahi and his party in
strong allegations that
see, they are there. I'm not. That's why I said alleged. If you know what I said alleged to have asked for that.
But you need to show evidence.
In 2011, I'll show you evidence. In 2011, their party in Nasarawa locked the stadium. It was Ta'al. What's it called? Conference center that was used for CPC campaign. And there were people who have been loyal, who have stayed true, who have been there with you all the long. And you look at them vying for a position. And Amabla is not even a foundation member of the APC. He does not even know our idea. He doesn't know the vision of the party.
This is a race, Mr. Audu. And in any race, one person will emerge. And when the party,
I have no problem with that.
When the party is deferred to the president to say, look, as a leader of the party, we're looking forward to how you will decide who you want, who you prefer. And the man has said, well, we do not officially know whether or not he has agreed on Adamu Abdullahi. So how have you come to the point of saying the president has preferred Adamu Abdullahi?
Shehu, the news is everywhere. I have people, I have personal people I have contact with. I have had discussion. And it is not just what he said. It's how he communicated it.
How did he communicate it?
We look up to Mr. President.
How did he communicate it?
We look up to Mr. President.
No, can you clarify how?
I would have expected that Mr. President sits with all of the stakeholders, which is the moral side. Forget the law. It's the moral thing to do.
All the aspirants were there.
Yes. Did they have a conversation? No.
It was a talking to, not a conversation.
There was no conversation between them and the president. That is. It's not just to the aspirant. It's to every single one of us that have been loyal to Mr. President till date. Every single one of us that have held true to the dream and the vision that this party, APC, is truly a progressive party that is targeted at making Nigeria greater. Excuse me, how am I supposed to campaign against 16 years of ruin of PDP if my national chairman had been in PDP, was a foundation member of the PDP and was in PDP for 16 years. The same 16 years I criticized PDP for, I will now bring the man who has been there, a foundation member, to come and head my party.
That's what your president wants. Your leader.
That isn't what I want. And that's why I'm saying that I am hoping that every aspirant for national chairmanship will resist the temptation of being coerced into either going for their law or being seen as being disrespectful to Mr. President. I am saying...
Are you a delegate to the convention?
No, I am not.
So you don't have a choice, you don't have a say?
I do. I have influence, and I'm going to use it.
Mr. Tituloye, what of you? Are you disappointed in what has happened?
I'm totally disappointed. And then what you said, that is he a delegate,
No, it's a big question. Because
I'm not a
if you're a delegate, you might be able to say, I'm going to oppose it on the ground.
My brother.
If you have an opposing
view. I'm not a delegate. You understand? I'm an international actor. You understand my point? I have followership. People listen. You understand what I'm saying? I am the convener of True Nigerian. You understand what I'm saying? And I've spoken to the youth. Participate, register, join political parties. I've said everything, call them all kinds of names. So what's happening?
So what are you going to do now?
I'm telling you that what the president did was terrible as a political party, APC. I totally disagree with it. I reject it with every form of sensibilities in me.
What are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Yes.
I'm going to speak. That's all I can do for now. Speak.
But in politics, you might have your say, but you might not have your way.
Yeah.
So what happens when you don't have your way?
So, wait a look. If we sit down and have a decent competition and you win, I will shake your hand and congratulate you.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? But we're running to this door and then you blow my eye, clear my leg. And then you are saying, what will I do? Of course, I'm going to speak. Since you are stronger than me.
So what is the way forward now?
The way forward, you understand, is for what has happened to be reversed and let us test popularity.
I do not even think it has to be reversed, to be honest with you. But what doesn't have to happen is an imposition. What doesn't have to happen is looking at people who have been loyal to you over the decades, over the years, to tell them to end their aspiration just because you want them. But there's no specific reason as to why you want them to go this way. With APC rebirth,
I'm still not clear, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm still not clear because there were no words directly from the president. We only saw pictures of them having meeting. But you are not satisfied. You said the manner in which the president he spoke to them, that he didn't allow a conversation between them. How can what exactly? You say you are principal there. What can you confirm to us that it really happened that didn't go down well with you?
You see, so what I've come to do here this night is to tell you, and by extension, most of our party members, you know, that this is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. This is not a democracy.
The decision or the way the president told them?
The manner.
both.
At which it was done.
How did he tell them? You have still not told me that. How did he tell them? Did he just say, step down, step down, step down, this is my candidate? Or how did he say it? Because time is not on our side, gentlemen.
I'll tell you, Shehu, consensus requires that the stakeholders come to the table and have a negotiation and come to an agreement, a point of agreement, right, where they all agree. And they are even protected by the law. The Electoral Act right now means you have to have your written consent.
Yes.
You know, to agree to a consensus.
Do you think they didn't sign there?
I am sure they did sign.
They obviously.
I don't think. I am sure they did not sign. So what I'm telling you now is, the president can throw his weight behind a candidate of his preferred choice, but that does not mean he should ask others not to go ahead with their life aspirations. That is inhuman.
Yeah, but you know for a fact that they were told to return everybody's 20 million. You know,
Is that not fair?
That is not the issue.
That's not fair. That's not even 1/5 of the 3 aspirants I know. Of each of them, it's not even 2% of what they have expended so far for the past nearly 2 years. Not 2%.
So you are not only aggrieved about in the personality of Adamu Abdullahi. You may not like his person.
No.
Can you take it just a moment?
I don't have anything against his person, but I have everything against
his ability to lead your party?
No.
You see, my party is a progressive party, and I think I joined a progressive party because I think we're going to run on the ground of equity, fairness, justice, you know, discipline. And most importantly, we said when we started this party that it's a new party for a new Nigeria, a party for a greater Nigeria. Abdullahi Adamu, with the antecedents of his democratic, his participation, does not reflect those values. That is exactly my point.
You see, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, what we're talking here isn't personal. If it was personal, you'll be hearing stupid idiots and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, Abdullahi Adamu was my father's student. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not personal. It is the way these things have done, not even in a progressive party, for God's sake.
Gentlemen, I guess this agitation, you still have about 24 hours to vent and make sure that things go well with your party.
By God's grace.
I think it's okay for you to agitate and show your grievance. It's part of the process, isn't it? But I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Benga. It's good to see you again. Ali Audu, thank you so much for coming. The difference between both of you is that you have good beards, good-looking beards, but one is gray, one is black. But thank you so much. It's good. I'm happy that you can smile because you were very much agitated. But we take a break, and when we come back, we'll be getting some explanation as to how the party decided on these consensus arrangement. One of the leaders of the party, the governor of Plateau State, Mr. Simon Lalong, will be joining us for another leader in the National Assembly. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.